tonight, against a flawed LSU team who's not as good as we thought, who's banged up on the O-line and just isn't great. I don't care. I don't care that they're not vintage. I don't care. You go into that joint and do that, and the second half trailing against a desperate team that has to have it, and you let them hang and drag them on that field like that for the 30 minutes that equal the second part of the 60, you got nothing but my respect.
Yeah, totally impressive. I saw it like that last year when Milroe went in there with Alabama and Kalen DeBoer. It was empty. Fourth quarter, empty. As good as it was, again, same thing. Rain, game day was there. DeBoer's plan was awesome, and they ghosted the joint, the home people. And I had that feeling in the back of my head all week going up to this game because you mentioned it. And we've talked about LSU every single week. I haven't understood the premise of the offense, especially with the lack of ability on the offensive line.
It's bad.
But with all that, they're winning at halftime.
18-14.
A&M goes into the locker room. I can't imagine how many times Elko's gone in there. He's been an assistant at A&M. Fowler and Herbstreit did the history of the last time that A&M went in there and won. And you talk about a plan and a mindset coming out of a locker room. Like, it was like Concepcion runs the pump back. It's done. Like that. It's over.
And Reed, we've raved about him. I still think, and right before halftime, before that second pick, I'm thinking in my brain, why hadn't he talked about more for Heisman?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we throw his name in there while we're at it? And then there's some picks, and you're like, okay,
tip balls,
well,
yeah.
Exactly. One was slightly deflected. The other's a full-on tip. But shakes that off, as does the entire team. I can only imagine the nuts and bolts of Elko's message to his group are, we're better than them, and we have 30 minutes to show it and show everybody who we are, and that's exactly what they did. But kicking it to Concepcion, right? Was that in the punt game?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I feel like he makes the hardest catches look like video games. It's stupid how good his hands are.
Yeah.
But LSU's flawed, but they were dangerous at home at night because they had to have it. Nothing more dangerous than the wounded animal. Well, I don't know if they're dead, but there's a carcass on the side of the road in BR because the Aggies stomped them out and kicked them to the side, man. That was – I get what you're saying about Bama, and it's easy to forget. But Bama and them have a rivalry that I think is way different than A&M and LSU. When I think of A&M and LSU, I think about the most ridiculous games ever played, like 19 overtimes and all the rest of that. You know what I'm saying? They've had plenty of history, but the Bama-LSU history is on a different level. That's more Ali Frazier, in my estimation. But for Elko to come in post-Jimbo and to pull the 180 the way they have, man, they could win it all.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. And to me, I yesterday on College Football Live, we talked about this game, and I said, to me, it's about A&M's defense because I know what Marcel Reed is. I saw what they did in the portal and getting Concepcion and Craver, who are awesome. They have plenty. Like, they lost their best run back in Moss, and they come in with Owens, and then 22 or 23s running down the sideline, looking like he's going to run a 4.2 40. So to me, it was about the defense because they went to Notre Dame, got a win. They gave up 40 or 41. Then the next road game was last week at Arkansas, 42. So now you're going to LSU. You know Nussmeier likes to chuck it, and then you have a bye, and then they go on the road, I believe, to Missouri. Next.
That is where they go.
So it was like a 5-week stretch where they're not going to play a home game. They're not going to play a home game until November 15th. And we've talked about the Arkansas scene, and they went there and just got it done. You know, Arkansas walked in the back door. Fine. Happy for those that had Arkansas.
Yeah.
And then you had this one with all the demons, with everything. It was 12 since 2010. LSU was 12-2 ATS against A&M. Like, that's a demon. and Elko just walks in with his glasses and his hat and his hoodie and says,
grind on his shirt.
I've loved the dude forever, and
Yeah, you have.
He had his guys dialed in tonight in a tough spot, because you mentioned you're thinking about Reed and what he's done. He went right down the field 2 times to start the game, and then all of a sudden,
I'm aware.
two tip balls, and
which is why I'm saying
he doesn't blink.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
What's awesome.
And before those 2 picks, I'm thinking, why don't we talk about him more? And then that happens. How do you respond? Like that, 35 straight starts second half. And there was a lot that was involved in that, obviously. But it just speaks to the totality of a team that is all 3 phases, literally all 3 phases, that were demonstrably better than an LSU team on its home field backed up against the wall that had to have it. They got folded, man.
Yeah.
Folded.